Alright, greetings everybody. Welcome to XFighter build. We're taking a short break from our Enterprise builds because we've had an issue with the paint as of late. So, the reason why is because it's been extremely noxious. The fumes from the paint are just horrible. So we've been having issues with that. My family did not appreciate the last time I had painted, which was all the white for the Enterprise. Enterprise is. So what we need to do is create ourselves a little paint booth. So I don't have a paint booth and I'm not rich. I know there's ones on Amazon that are like $100, which are not bad at all. Actually pretty cool, but not big enough for what I need it for anyway. The cheapo one isn't. So what we are going to do is make our own. So these are foam board from Walmart. We have looked up a newer design from a guy on YouTube. He did a wonderful job on recreating a new version of his. So we are going to be basically copying it at least in part. So in order to get, we need ours to be about the same as his. So here is the one that he created. He has free blueprints on his, and I'm going to link his because this is totally his. I'm just showing you the way that I interpreted his and the way I used it. He used duct tape. He used cardboard. This is foam board. So it is partially sealed, which is great. At least this stuff is. I have another version of the foam board where it is not sealed. They no longer, is this the one that's not sealed? No longer carry the sealed one at Walmart, as far as I could tell. This one is the sealed one. So this stuff is great. It has basically it has just a coating on it that's kind of waterish proof. I don't know how waterproof it actually is because I've never used it before, but. So ours will be created using this, scissors, box cutter, paint. I don't know if we'll actually paint it right now, but we'll at least show you the initial setup. And then down the line, if we do paint it, I'll show you like the upgrades to it. Like eventually, maybe not right away, but eventually I'll be adding like lighting and stuff like that. So we'll be using like strip lighting. And we'll just solder it ourselves and put it on the top part, which in this case will look like that. So we'll have some up here, and then we're going to use like I have a regular house filter that I'm going to use for most of the spray paint, and then the rest is going to be so we're going to have a filter, and then behind that filter is going to be a charcoal filter, so that'll eliminate the smell from our lovely paint that we've been using, which is the Tamiya white paint. Very very noxious after you use 2.5 cans or 2 1/4 can. So we're first going to start off with this is our base. This is our base that we're going to use. So the first part we're going to do is create the sides and the back. What I'm going to be using to vent this is it's going to be that charcoal filter is going to be so that we can vent it without having to I have no windows in here, and I don't really want to create like a door thing, not right now anyway. So we're not going to use the door, but here he shows like a little hole at the back so that you can create a box where basically it's a like a funnel, so that it vents through here, and then it has like an inline vent fan, and it's really cool. I don't have that luxury. I have a fan that was given to me that I'm going to be using. I'll show it to you in just a moment, and that'll be what we use to pull the air in. So this will be great. Give me 1 second. I'll get the fan that I'm using. Okay, so this is going to be our fan that we're going to be using. So we're going to use it in reverse. So instead of blowing the air towards us, we're going to flip it around, and then we're going to use it to vent away from us. And so the way we're going to do that is we're going to modify the back piece so that it's still enclosed, like here. So we're gonna go ahead and use this exact design, which is just an extra box that sits on the back. This is how I created. I'll link his page. It's his video. I'll link his video. That way you can just kind of download this yourself. And it's free. There's no catch. He just wants to give that information out. He's a nice guy. Really, his looks great. But we're going to modify this so that this back part will actually just fit onto the back part of the main box. So the fan will basically, it'll draw the air. We'll have it enclosed, but the fan will draw the air and it'll directly vent out into, it'll be sealed around where the filters are. And then this box will basically be modified to be down towards the bottom, so that we can get the right height for the fan itself. And then it'll vent into the garage directly. So we'll have the next part of the box will be sealed around this area on the, so it's going to be turned around on the back of the box. And then basically we'll have it sealed here so that it makes it draw that air and it goes right through the fan. So, and that'll pull the air, and it'll go through it'll go through the main filter, and then it'll go through the charcoal filter. And then, so it'll be basically twice filtered air. There's another guy that does it where you can do, it vents right into a bucket with some water, which is great too. That gets rid of the air, the noxious air somehow too. It helps with the charcoal filter. Right now we're not going to use that part. If we end up needing to, we will do that, but we'll see how this works just without that. So this will basically be modified. It'll still taper down at the top, but wherever the fan needs to sit is where this is going to be. And will create a big hole with using the fan, and then we'll undersize the size of it so that way it like fits snugly on the fan itself. So we'll get started with that now. We'll get started by first creating the main box, which these are the instructions for the main box. It's not entirely detailed because you are to basically, I believe this is all in, like, 598 like millimeters, I think is what it is. So you just kind of like, you use your own dimensions. I'm going to use mine, so whatever that translates. I mean, this is pretty easy. This is the filter box right here, where the filter kind of needs to vent. So he does like regular home filters, so basically it's just a hole that fits that filter, whatever size filter you end up needing. So I will figure out if I'm going to use my house filter or I have ways of getting other filters, so I might get one of those. But yeah, it's really nice. I would that's the guy's name, Prop and Stuff. So that's the guy's name. This is a spray booth version 2. All right, so we'll get to that. We'll start by creating the sides. We use duct tape on the sides. Our main source we'll have a pair of scissors, the duct tape, and basically basic measuring tools, and straight edge and everything. And we'll see what else we need. If we need more, we'll get more. And we'll start with that. I don't really have a plan because I've never built one of these before, but I saw his video on it. It's great. So, and we'll get this fan out once we're at that spot in the video. So, all right. Okay, so the first thing, this size is the size that I want to use for the filter, or for the whole model, the spray booth, because we know that the Enterprise will fit in the spray booth at this size. So if we made it any smaller, we would not be able to make it work. So we really kind of want to have it at this size. So that'll be, I mean, look, this is the one part of the Enterprise that we can get in here. And it's just the saucer section. So if we went any smaller, it wouldn't be very much use as far as Star Trek models go. So first thing we're going to do is take our sides. So the great thing about these is that this matches the edges, so they're all the same size. So we'll be taping them right here at the corners first, and then we have one for the back. So basically, we will match the height of one of these when it's standing on this. So we can absolutely do the maximum amount of height for this thing. So we'll probably start here. Okay, so this is basically how high this will be. Oh, it's hard to see, but yeah, hard for me to see. So yeah, that's our maximum height that we want to go with. So we'll get this taped into place. Then we'll cut the other ones to the right size because we'll mark it, and then we will cut them to the right size. And this one will actually be one of the sides because it has a bad edge. So, okay, we'll be right back. Okay, so we're back right now. I know we're looking in the corner here, but so what we're gonna do is, since we want to keep, so basically what we want to do is get everything lined up the way we want it. It's going to be hard because these corners are not going to be exactly perfect right now. I hope that light is going to help me right now. So we're using a regular pencil here. Mark the height. Okay, so that's where we want the board to be. Now we'll use this basically as our straight edge. So we're going to use this as a straight edge. It's not going to be exactly accurate, but it'll get us in the ballpark. Okay, so there's that. So this is, like I said, an attempt to recreate this in a different way. Like, it's pretty much the same, but we have to make it work for how poor I am. So we're gonna do it my way. This stuff didn't cost much. I think it was like $2 a piece or something like that. Anyway, so what we want to do is take this guy. Do we have a straight edge? Should use a straight edge. So what we want to do is get rid of this excess part right here. We've marked what we don't want to keep. This is going to give us our edge that we want. Get rid of all this. Use a straight edge, or an angle. This is an angle, which does not give perfect angles. Not when the board is all wibble wobble. So what we're going to do is we're going to use, I have a box cutter somewhere, but I don't know where it went. It disappeared on me here. So now we could just follow the line. Let's see how well this cuts into this board before we do anything else. So we will do what I originally thought maybe we could try. Okay, so we've cut off all of our sides here. We might use these later, so we'll hold on to them. We never know what we'll need them for. But that was pretty easy. You just score it basically on both sides. You could use scissors. I just used scissors. It wasn't that bad. So now we've got our sides done. And then we're going to need to take duct tape, which is really crappy looking duct tape, but it'll work. So we'll take duct tape. And we're going to basically take off, like the guy, what's his name, Props and stuff says, you basically just need to take off these little pieces of, the stuff is really sticky, but we'll take a couple strips of our duct tape. Start with that way we can get everything lined up. So take little pieces of duct tape like that. We're going to go a little bit smaller actually, because then we can get things put into place while we are getting ready. So let's do it where we can see it. I'm going to keep the cut sides down. And it's hard for us to get this in aim here, but basically I'm going to take this And tape up the bottom and the corners here first. That way, kind of get that all situated. Okay, so we got that squared away. Kind of. It is definitely, this stuff is super sticky. So, just trying to move around, I'm getting stuck to everything. So, that's okay though. That is probably for the best. I gotta move this thing back again. So as you can see, this thing is ridiculously big, which is good. Okay, so we don't have a lot of time left in this part of the video. But, so basically you see that we got the 3 corners made up, which is not a bad start to a booth, but it's not great either. So we're not quite done. What we're going to do is take the duct tape and we're going to tape all the corners because we want to have a nice sealed booth in this part right here. So we're gonna do that. We'll cut back to when this is all cleaned up, but we did do like little pieces of tape on the inside and the outside. We'll kind of show pictures of that, but here, I'll show you real quick. But basically what we did was we taped along the outer side here, and we just did strips of tape. So, but we're going to go back and reinforce this with actual big tape now, and we'll just put some reinforcement tape down here too, down on the bottom here. So you can see we just, everything's just kind of taped in place. So we'll put tape on the outside and on the inside. And then we'll start creating our box for the fan and get our hole cut out for what we need for our filter. And we'll see where that gets us. And then we have to create a lid. And we do have other types of foam board for that because the Walmart cheaped out now and they don't have this big foam board or the nice sealed foam board. All right, we'll cut back in just a few minutes. Well, for me, it'll be a few seconds. We'll see you in as long as it takes. All right, everybody, how we doing? We're back after just this short break. I just wanted to show you our progress. I know now I have plenty of time because I had to get all my stuff taken care of as far as getting my data cleared here. Weird noises. So in the meantime, we've had a lot of rain lately, so there's been actually I guess my garage flooded a little bit here. Not a lot, but just a little bit, probably like 1/4 of an inch of rain or something, or water. Okay, so anyway, progress on the our beautiful looking, actually it looks really great. The paint booth is coming along nicely. So since the last time that we were here, the last video, part of the video I should say, what we did was we taped all the inner corners, anywhere that there was a crease, you know, or where the pieces met. We as you can see, we taped all the corners where every corner met, so that we can make sure that we have a nice good seal in here for when we are painting. So that way, when we have our filter in here, we'll have a nice place for that air to just escape through there, and it won't escape through, you know, inside these creases and everything. So it actually turned out pretty cool. I think it turned out nice. We just cleaned up the edges. We ended up cutting this at an angle to meet the top here, which we just made it so that having it open at the top makes it easier for us to come in and spray, kind of like at an angle. This is part of that guy's videos. He does a much better job at putting his video together, but this is my interpretation of it. So the next step that we're going to be doing after that, which let me just show you this before we move on. But the next step is going to be cutting the hole for the fan. So this is the back side here, or the side here. So same thing, we just tape the edges after. So the individual taping pieces that you see here were just to keep it in place while for us to get ready to do this. So as you can see, we did it on the outside as well as on the inside. So that should give us a nice good seal. This is the back side here. We'll show you that. It's turned out nice. So just do that too. Just kind of ended up cutting, you know, this. It's regular duct tape. Works great. Nothing fancy about it. This foam board was at Walmart. They don't have this foam board anymore. They have this foam board up here, which it's okay. It's great for the top, but it's not great for the rest of it. So if I were to recommend just finding a different foam board instead of using that, we ended up going to it's I don't know if this store is everywhere, but we have a store called Meyer out here, and now this is what we're gonna have to use for the backside. So it's still not quite as nice as this, because this has like a plastic coating, but this is still like decent foam board. It's a little better than the Walmart one, like up here. So this foam board will be for our fan compartment, and we'll show that when we get to that in just a moment here. So we have 4 pieces of that for the backside, because our, you know, we have a top, 2 sides, the front and the bottom here. So we might need, we should be okay with that, because we're basically just gonna cut the fan box to size, because it just needs to fit the fan, and pretty much have the fan resting up against where the filter is, which is going to be pretty much right here, depending on where the fan sits, and we'll unbox that in a minute here. But yeah, the other side's the same exact thing, you know, just taping the side. So I'm not going to show you the other side, but you know, you can use your imagination, just flip it in your mind. But yeah, it turned out nice. It was nice and easy. It didn't take long at all. I only didn't film it. I would have just filmed it straight up if I had room on the camera for that. But really, in reality, it only took maybe a half hour, 45 minutes, something like that. So this is a real easy build. I mean, cutting the tape took longer than, you know, putting the pieces together. So, I mean, it really wasn't that bad. But for right now, we're going to start out with our next part, which is the filter. 1 second. So this will be our filter here. So this was just a generic one we have at my job. So this is a 16 by 25 by 1 filter, and it's going to be right here. We're not going to cut the whole back out like that. I mean, we will pretty much just cut, you know, the inner part right here. So this will be where the line is, like just where the actual pleating is inside here. So these are good filters, and it might have to be a little lower depending on where we are with the fan. So we're going to judge that when we take out the fan, because I want to see how the fan's going to sit. That way we can kind of judge how we want this to be. So, all right, give us a moment. We'll come back. We'll bring out the fan. We'll kind of see what we're going to do with that. This is the main filter, but in front of it will be, or in back of it, depending on how I end up doing it, there's going to be a charcoal filter sitting right here too. So a charcoal filter is to get rid of the fumes and that kind of smell in the air. And then this is to catch the paint particles and everything like that. So as long as there's good airflow, we're going to use both of them at the same time. And that's to keep the charcoal filter from clogging up too fast and early too. So what we'll end up doing is I'll probably put like just some maybe some hot glue on here to glue the filter in place. That way it's removable. And I don't have any brackets or anything right now, but in the future I do want to do some like corner brackets and just like use he's got these 3D printed rubber band corner pieces. I'm sorry, his name is Prop and Stuff. Like I said, I'll put the link in the description, but to his video. So he has these really cool 3D printed parts for that, and a 3D printed part for this part in the back so that he can put his exhaust in. He's got like a 3D printed square so that his ducting can be on there, and it can just magnetically snap in place. It's really cool. It's a really cool system. So yeah, it sits on the back there. So now we are modifying the way that this is. It's not going to be like this where it's kind of like up and away from the bottom. Ours is going to have a bottom pretty much, and then it's going to have the fan encased in there, and it's going to pretty much directly pull the air from the filter. So yeah, it's going to be a little bit of a redesign, but it should work. And if it doesn't work, we'll find out together, and then we'll make version 2.0 a little bit different later on. But for right now, that's our best bet. So we're going to see, like I said, where the fan is going to sit, and what modifications we'll have to do even more, because I haven't even opened the fan yet. So all right, let's find out where we're at. I'll be right back. Okay, so we're coming back because now we can see the size of this fan. The fan's pretty big, and we see I see some issues already, which is not a huge issue or anything like that. It's just a small smidgen of an issue. So yeah, the main issue that I'm seeing here with this fan. So this is a really nice fan though. It's called the Max Air Turbo High Velocity Floor Fan. We will probably not use the maximum settings on this thing, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna have a problem with having this be in. It's gonna be inside the box. I was hoping that there would be like a top part to the fan, and it would be sitting on top, but that's okay because I have ideas of how to get. I already have an idea of how to fix that, and what it is when we make the box, I'm going to create like a little door with some Velcro and some adhesive, or not adhesive, but some weather stripping to block the air. So when the door closes, that it'll be as sealed as possible so that we can get the maximum draw for the air. But it's not that big a deal. So we'll just have to, un-Velcro the door to the cardboard box and to the cardboard backing so that we can get in there and turn the fan on. So there's no easy way to do that. I mean, I'm sure we could like rig something up where I could change it, but as far as I can tell, that's going to be the easiest way to do it for now. And we'll make modifications as we see fit. And then we're going to have something like a little, this will run outside the back of the box, like at the bottom, on the bottom corner. So we can run the cord out through the back and out to where we need to plug it in. So, and then eventually we'll have lighting up here too, which we'll run along the same edge. They'll just have to have separate power supplies. So not that big a deal. It is a pretty hefty fan. It's pretty nice. If I could keep it just like that, I would. Like where it's just the round part. But this thing's got feet, so we'll see what we can do. So this part will be drawing the air. So this is where the fan gets, the air gets pulled. So we'll have to push this. I'll have to have it a little forward of the filter. So we'll leave ourselves enough for my hand to get in here and turn it. Unless we can get it to work where I have it like the same thing, but up here, where I can reach my hand in and turn it on, close the door, and then have it be, that might be the better idea actually. And then just have this run out through, like I said before, but we'll have it duct taped so that none of the air gets out of there. So yeah, I think that's what we're gonna do, because then I don't have another hole back here that it can't accommodate for. Okay, well, we'll be right back. I still have some legs to put on here. I'm going to see how that looks when I put the legs on, because that'll give me, it'll make it adjustable. And then we'll see what we get with that. So, all right, be right back. Okay, so we're coming back. I just wanted to show you that we do have this built as is. So it's not bad with the feet on there. It doesn't add any like extra dimension to it really, except for height, which is fine. So this will be what we're going off of. So we can put the filter a little higher, And what we'll end up doing is trying to create a hole for the fan, this part to come out of the back of the new box that we're creating. We're gonna put this up to the back right now, so that way we can get our line for how at the height of where we want the filter to be, because this is about the height that we want this to be at. And then, so we'll do this right now. So this is a really nice fan. I like this fan actually. So far, it's so good. I haven't tested out the power or anything, but okay. So this is where we're gonna want it. We actually should turn it around. Scratch that a little bit because it is a hefty fan too. So so it's got a little weight to it. But we probably should turn it around because this is the intake. So this is what is going to draw all the air. But this is the general direction that it's going to face. So it's going to draw all the air through there and out the back. Probably only need like level 1 because this is like a max air fan. So it's going to, even level 1 is going to be really, really powerful. So we don't need it to like suck the paint into it as we're spraying. We won't get any on the model. So it'll be easy enough just to do that. And just with level 1. So that's our plan for that one. So we got to create a box. The box only has to be the same size as our fan. So we don't need it any bigger than that. So any material we can keep that keeps it that size, we're good with. So this will be fun. All right. Let's mark. I'm going to turn it around. We're going to mark the lowest mark of where like this part comes. So that way, or you should probably be right about here. So here and here. But we will just do the lower mark. That way we know where the filter needs to be at. And then we'll mark that, get it level, and then we'll make our marks for the filter, and then we'll make the hole for the filter. We'll start with that. Okay, we're coming back. So now we turn the fan around, and like I said, we're going to take a pencil, and we're just going to go in here and mark. It's going to be hard because take the fan back a little bit. Because like I said, we needed the mark to be where the edge of the black part is on the grill back there. So we don't need it at the bottom of the... So right about there. So we marked it. Get this guy out of the way. So okay, now with the fan out of the way, we can see we get the mark back here. So then we take our filter, and we're just gonna eyeball this. So when you put your filter in, though, you're gonna want to pay attention to the airflow because it says airflow that way. So it doesn't matter right now, but so we want to make sure it's going that way because it's going to be drawing the air through it. And otherwise, the other way won't do too much at all, actually. You can get my big head out of there once we're done here. Trying to make it level as possible and even as possible on the sides here. And you don't have to be exactly accurate for this one. I'll tell you why in a second here, because we don't, even though we're marking this, we don't want it to be this. So okay, we roughly marked it in. It's not great, but filter kept moving. So what you want to do is, yeah, you're marking the outer edge, but you want to keep this where you're really going to cut is on the inside here, so that you have this whole thing to adhere to, or in later cases it'll be like rubber banded too, so it has some surface to grab onto, because you don't want to like, you know, push it all the way through. You don't want to be flush with the thing, with the whole cutout. So like if we had the right hold on, get this back. Oh, I'm sorry. So yeah, you don't want to cut it out to be like that, because if you do, it'll just fall right through. So what we'll do is we'll mark the inner path too. So what about like an inch in from there? We could do it rough. We don't have to be completely accurate, but you know, somewhat accurate is appreciate it. Because we don't want it to look completely bad or anything like that. So we'll mark about an inch in. That way we can make sure we have a substantial amount of room left for us to grab onto. Maybe a little bit more too, because we're not 100% accurate on here. So, mark it about 2 inches from that one. So we mark about an inch and a quarter, let's say. So an inch and a quarter. That was for the inside mark there. Okay, so what we ended up doing, it's kind of hard to see from here, but okay. So we marked like we did the stencil of the outside. It's really rough. I'm sorry. I don't have really good tools. Like I said, poor man built. So what we did was we marked the inside using the filter. Tried to get as straight of an edge as we could. So then we marked, let me see these two little marks. It's trying to get on the pencil, but that's not what I'm trying to show you. So this mark and this mark show basically an inch in roughly from inside the filter. That way when we go to put the filter on, it will be so we marked those marks there so that we know like roughly how much extra room we need when we go to do the filter. That way it has something to grab onto, like we just said a little while ago. So we'll do an inner marking, and that's where we're actually going to cut. This outer marking, we're not cutting at all. So this is the one where we want to be a little bit more accurate. It'll be hard for me to show you, but I'll show you the after of us doing this. That way you can see what we did, and hopefully it looks a lot better than this one does. So yeah, and then so we'll get this all marked off, and then we'll cut the hole for it. And we'll show you how that goes. And we'll, hopefully it looks nice. So that's what you basically have to do. And we'll return in just a moment here. Okay, so after some short work, we managed to cut the hole out for it. It's not the best looking thing in the world. That's definitely not going to be the thing. So it's not going to win any beauty contests, at least not mine. Maybe yours will, but definitely not mine. So this is just so that the filter can get through there, though. And as you can see the light through the back there. Focusing on the thing, not me. So as you can see the light, and that's perfect. That's exactly what we need. It has enough meat to grab onto when we hot glue it in place. That'll be great. And then that'll give us our clearance for the fan. And then the only other thing I might have to cut into is like a hole, like I said, up here, just so I can reach in the box and turn the fan on. So we're still going to kind of work that out. We're not 100% on that just yet. So we'll see how things go. Right now we're going to go into creating the box for the fan. So now these two are going to marry in the back there. And we'll see how that looks together. Eventually we're going to put down like a nice piece of particle board here. The like MF, what is it? Micro, I don't know. It's the really nice particle board. So like it'll give us a little weight here. It'll be a little bit more substantial. I'll glue that into place like wood glue, so that it's like permanently in place, and it'll be nice solid. It's only like MF, I think it's the really thin stuff. So it's just like pretty much the same thickness as this, but it'll give it some reinforcement. We might end up doing that to the back too for the fan. But for now, we're just doing this. The problem is it's going to be really heavy when the two pieces are together. So I kind of think of a way. I might be able to have the duct tape, like maybe if I do it right, I can just kind of like leave a lip on the front and the sides. That way it can be removable. But we'll see, like the fan part, so that it can break down into two pieces, which that would be good. If we do a version 2.0, if we didn't work that out, we'll do that for that one. So for 2.0. Okay, so we're going to get this one off the bench. This is as far as we're going with this one. Next up is we're going to take the fan up and start cutting our other pieces to size. So those are the ones we have to be more accurate about. So we'll be much more accurate about how how we cut those lines. And then we'll see where we're at on that one. Okay, we'll be right back. I'll get this thing out of the way, and we'll start with that next. Okay, so now we got the other one out of the way, and now we're moving on to the fan one. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to mark only as deep as we want the fan box to be. So this is pretty much almost going to be tied up against here, but we do want a little bit of clearance. So you might not be able to see it, but on this there's actually grid lines, which is kind of nice. So we're going to leave, this is about almost three full squares worth of room that we want to have. So that gives us, at least we can line it up, you know, we can kind of see where we're at least that's the back part of the leg that it has. So I'm going to just take a moment. I'm going to turn it to the side so we can see what I'm doing, and we'll start marking off where we want it to be. Now this is going to be harder because it's black, but it's okay because we have a graphite pencil, which will give us kind of a look at the marking, I guess. Unless you have like a silver Sharpie, which would probably be a lot better. So give me one second. Okay, so we got things situated right here. We're still in line. We're pretty much where we want to be on that side. So then we're going to cut, or not cut, but we're going to do a straight edge down this side, so that way we can make sure that we get a nice clean edge. And that's pretty much where we want the box to end. We might, well, we're going to have it. So we do want to have a little bit of a lip for the front of it to get put down, because this is going to need like a cutout basically. So, and we need something for it to lip onto, you know, so we don't want to cut it too shallow. So we're going to go maybe just like a hair out of the way, you know. So we're looking at probably, let's see, this is the normal edge right here. You can't see it on video, but it's like right there. You might not even be able to, oh, you can see it a little bit. So yeah, it's right here. So that's like our normal. If I'm looking at it, I can kind of see it that way. So we're going to want to come out at least a square, maybe a square and a half, just to kind of give us ourselves a little more meat. And we could always clean it up and cut it off later if we need to. So that's the best part about that. Everything is just, this is such a big workbench, but I have so many tools and stuff laid out for the Enterprise that it's not even funny. So like I said, we're going to go, that's one square, this is square and a half. This is just to give us a little bit of like air, extra room for air. So we don't, hopefully we don't need that, but. Two passes with that one. Should be fairly accurate. Basically, the first pass is to score the foam board. So it gives you that nice line to follow. And this pass lets you go all the rest of the way through. So there you go, nice piece. We'll probably save this for later like I did with the other ones, because we might need to reuse them for other parts. But yeah, fairly accurate there. So okay, that's that part. Then we are going to cut the next pieces in height with the rest of the box. So I'll mark that real quick off screen, and then I'll move this out of the way and we'll start cutting those. So basically it'll be just like we did before, where we're taping the edges onto it after, and creating a box. But we don't have to create a box on this side because it's just going to butt up against the other one. So we're not creating a full three-dimensional box, but basically we need the bottom, sides, top, and front. So, and then somehow we're going to get that little control taken care of. If only I could dismount the control and have it wired a different way, but it looks like it's like directly wired into the motor, like right there. So for right now, we're limited. And so we're going to get it the same depth that we have over here. So I want it to end right here, and then it's going to be the same height as the other box. So that way when they marry easily. I will do the one measurement off screen. We'll snap back after I get the cutting done. And we'll be right back. Alright, and through the magic of editing, we now have our two side pieces out of one board. Look at that. That was instantaneous for you. What happened? Where were you? Gosh, I had to do that all myself. Darn it. No, just kidding. But, okay. So now that's good because we have our two side pieces out of the same board, which means we saved the board. But that doesn't matter because... Okay, so it's going to be like that. Looks pretty good. Yeah, okay, so it doesn't matter. It's right there. Okay, so then the next board is going to be our front board. And we are going to do... We're going to have to do something unique with that one. Because we want the front of the fan to go out through that one. So, okay, so those are our... We got the bottom and two sides. And we're going to set these off to the side right now. We'll be back with you on those. So then next board, two boards left. I got another board here. This piece was just left over from the other board. Basically for right now, I have no use for it, so it's probably going to be chucked in the garbage. But we don't know that yet, because we're not sure. So what we want to do is... Where did we... Okay. So we know that the cutout... This is what we're going to have to do here. So we're going to take the whole fan. Going to position it. We'll take this guy. Position it like this. So it's just going to sit pretty much right. Throw legs up and down. Now, what I want to do is make sure that this comes up square, because this is going to give us our... Lock the legs into basically, so she's standing up straight, as if she was standing up straight. Great thing is this one has knobs, so you just tighten the knobs. I don't know if you'll have a box fan that might be a little bit easier, like this one. So we're gonna move this guy square. I'm going to use my disc to kind of square these up. Because basically this front will be sitting on the right up there. I think there's a little room for error, but we'll find out. So basically, this will give us like the basic position that the fan's going to be in the whole time. And so, yeah, having it square up to the edge of the table, and then having, because this is the angle, or what is this thing called? The square. So this is the square. So as long as it's square, I mean, okay, so this is touching the black foam. I'm not interested. This is just a little bit further back on here. So as long as it touches the black foam while we're doing this, and then so do the feet, then we're good, because it's going to basically be pointed straight up, or straight down, like, or straight out. So this is our fan mark we're going to make. Okay, so our best bet is to undercut the hole just a little bit, like maybe like a 1/4 of an inch or 1/8 of an inch or something like that. Just so when we go to push the fan through it, it kind of catches the lip a little bit after, you know, we push it through, and then it pulls back a little, and then the fan will be basically in the right position. And then we will eventually just tape the edge of where the fan exits anyway, just to kind of get that full force sealed in look, you know. So, but we'll see how that goes. So right now, we'll remove the fan. We'll do the cut. I don't have anything that can substitute while we're cutting, I don't think. Okay, so it's not the best looking circle you've ever seen, but it'll probably do the job. So I had a little problem when I was trying to pull the thing out. It creased a little bit. That's okay, because this is going to be the back side. Most people won't see it anyway, but I mean, we'll see it at the end. So that gets our two sides, and our top, or we just need to work on our top. But for now, before we do the top, we are going to try to assemble most of the box and see how that looks. Like and then we'll worry about the top afterwards, because we might be able to use one of our other pieces. And we'll see. So we'll start. We'll get the bottom in place. Oh, you sons of biscuits. Okay. So now we will rough everything in place here. And the great thing is, because we'll have this backside open, not too worried about it. Okay, so same thing as before. We're basically just going to get the tape into little strips, the duct tape, and then when we have that all done, we can go back and reinforce it, and we'll do some testing. And then when we test it and we figure out what we're going to do with the top part, then we will be in business. Yeah, actually, you know what? We will not worry about... We can tape this to the back of the other one. And then when it comes to the paint or the fan, we can just slide the fan in before we do the top. So yeah, we're good. Okay, we'll do it that way. Okay, let's start with the strips. It's a huge pain in the butt. This tape is really sticky, which is both a great thing and a hindrance, because it's a pain in the butt. As you can see, it got some streamer on there. From a wedding shower, or not wedding shower, a baby shower. My wife helped decorate for my sister-in-law, and it snagged the excess because it was rolling around the back of my car. So that's okay. Kind of pull it off as we're working, which is great. Get a bunch of strips lined up and ready to go, just like we did on the other side, or on the other box. So this is box B. The other box is box A. This is the main box, and then this is the accessory box, basically. It's almost easier just to tear it, but I like slightly cleaner edges. I think my scissors are getting all these glue on them. Now they don't cut very well. If I go on top, okay. So changing my mind on that, we're gonna actually go on top. That shouldn't mess up anything. So. Okay, we got that side done. Now we're going to move on to this side. Okay, so we got the sides and the top on, or the front on, but we're going to go ahead and reinforce a little more, so we'll be right back after that. Okay, so we've got this thing mocked up right now, so it's not fully taped together, it's not ready to go. It is mocked up so that we can position the fan in there and make sure that she's going to work out nicely. After we get things mostly situated, I will cut a hole for where the cord will have to come out. More than likely, it's going to come out to the, let's see, the right of us right now, but it'll be the left of the whole entire box. because that's the way it kind of comes out with on the fan. That way we can maximize how much distance we get with that, you know, so we can make sure that we're it's going as far as possible, not needing an extension cord or anything. So yeah, it's just mocked up just like we did before, just to give us rough, making sure that we're, you know, all where we want to be without fully securing it, just in case we got to take it off, which would be a pain, but it is doable. All right, let's look at this real quick. All right, let's get the fan up in position, mocked in position. So that is looking good. And then I just have to, let's turn this around. So there we go. That's mocked into position. That's not fully committed yet. So then when we do commit it, we'll push it through. If we got to do some cutting, no problem. We can cut a little bit more. And then once it's through, then we'll tape the edge so that it's nice and sealed. That way, just, you know, I don't know if that's going to make a huge difference or not. But we could always, duct tape is pretty easy to remove anyway. So, but overall, I like the look of that. That looks pretty cool. Okay, so after some, maybe a half hour, 45 minutes worth of work, we have everything taped off as far as this goes. So all our corners, inside and outside, have been taped, as you can see here. So the bottoms, everything's taped down here. Smoothing that out. That was the last piece I just did. So, but yeah, we got the inside all taped in. It's not the prettiest, you know, it's not the prettiest girl at the ball, but she'll get the work done. And so that's that box. So as you can see, that'll fit our fan just right. Now, if you're moving the fan around, it might move a little bit because there's nothing to brace the fan into place, really, except for this front part, which hopefully will hold at least a little bit. So I don't even know if I'm going to tape that into place, because really it won't matter because it's already pulling the air in from here. So what it really just matters is that it's in here just right. So hopefully when I push that through and it comes back, it'll hold it nicely. But we'll see. We're not, might have to do like a little notch out here just to get it to fit in there. And then when it pulls back, it'll pull the notch in with it. So we'll see how that works. Like, this is very much a prototype for me, because even though I have the plans, excuse me, even though I have the plans from the props and stuff, great guy. It's more of still a prototype, because this is totally different from his. At least this part is. The rest of it's pretty on par with what he has. He uses cardboard boxes, really cool, even slightly cheaper than mine in some aspects. But he's got a nice inline fan, so, which is a little bit more expensive. So might draw about the same amount. I'm not sure. Okay, so here's the two side by side. They are quite big, but they look pretty cool with each other. So as we can see, the top of the black side here, it's kind of cool because it's got like two-tone. I actually like the black and the white together. So now that we see them side by side, we can get everything situated. So now what we'll do is we'll get the taping done as far as the top, the bottom, and the other side, and then we will place the fan inside, get that situated, cut our cord location out, get that plugged in, and then we'll see how everything works together. I think we'll be able to maybe do like a test run here, and I know it's going to be pretty loud. So yeah, we'll do a test run on that, get everything situated, and we'll see how everything works together. All right, for 1 second here, we're going to lift this guy up, and then I'm going to take it to over here where we can see into the box real quick. So all the way in the background there, you can see the Enterprise A. Just hanging out back there, waiting for the spray booth to be done, because we can't paint anymore until the spray booth is done. And once it is, I think everything will work great. So let's get things going, and then hopefully we can get this tutorial out there. So like I said, I'll probably cut back once I have the charcoal filter, and then we'll get everything situated, and we'll continue the tutorial. If I could talk. All right, we'll see you shortly here. All right, greetings everybody. We've gotten some work done on this booth, our paint booth here. So what we did was we actually taped the back part on, which is our fan box. So we taped our fan box in such a way that hopefully, if we wanted to detach it, it would come apart easily because of the other duct tape that's already been on there on the two boxes. So hopefully you can just detach that. Might work, might not work that well, but either way, it'll work for what we need it to do. So next up, what we're going to do is get our hot glue gun ready to go. And then we're going to start gluing the main filter in place. And we still don't have the charcoal filter, but we're going to be okay without it for now. So we will get this thing warmed up, and then we'll be right back, and we'll kind of show just us gluing in place real quick. Okay, so we're getting back in right now. I'm sorry we couldn't have filmed that because the glue gun does not work very well. But yeah, for the most part, it's not even because I had to move so fast. But yeah, it worked pretty good. It's a little uneven, but like I said, all we need is it to be in the right spot, and it's filling the hole, and for the most part, it's grabbing pretty good. So it'll do what we need it to do. And up here it's pretty good, because that was the last part I put the glue on. So next step, so now we got that in place. You can see that fills in pretty good. So the next step is putting the fan in place, and then trying to get the fan in there and in its actual spot. So we'll show you that in just a moment. Let's get the glue gun out of here. We have Storm coming in again. Should be here probably for the duration of this video. Alright everybody, we're back now. We're going to be putting the fan in place right now. Alright. So here's our little guy here. Let's fit here. So, as you can see, it doesn't quite fit normally, so we're going to try fitting her in. See what modifications need to be done in order to get it in there. Okay, so that fit in not too bad. That's kind of what we were looking for right there. That's why we cut it a little bit too small, so we can kind of get the fan lip to be like our seal kind of around the edge, even though it really won't matter, because honestly at this point the amount of airflow you get is what you're gonna get. So you just tighten the legs on the fan so she doesn't move anymore. Our fan is now in place. Looks really good, I think. It looks almost professional. Definitely not professional, but you know, that's what it is. So yeah, now we got the fan in place. So our next step will be to do our top here. So once we have that done, we can do a trial run. Well, we gotta figure out the control situation. So overall, I like the look of it. It looks really nice with the way that the red and the black move together. And since it's got a black part on the inside, that looks nice. Okay, so that's part one of that. So the next up is taking our lid. So this will be what will end up being our lid. So it's already the right length this way. We just have to kind of mark it where we want it, which thankfully it's right there. And then while we're doing modifications, we'll just tape this edge right here so that we can kind of flap it like that. We'll just make it so that it's a flap for now, while we're figuring things out. Okay, so now we know which one we want. Earlier today, my Enterprise saucer took a tumble, my main saucer section, due to accidental oversight. Not by me necessarily, but so we'll get better at these angles and everything like that. So not to worry, the Enterprise is fine. She needs a few minor repairs though, and then she'll be right as rain. Okay, so we'll use a straight edge just like before. Cut the excess off. What's going on here? Glue. So this will create our flap. We will, hopefully you can see that. Yeah, you can. Okay, so zoom in a little bit there. So just like before, so this is basically how you do the whole thing. If you have like an actual straight edge, that's probably for the best. This is a makeshift. This is a square, but just funny enough that it's actually a looks more like a triangle, a square. But so this gives us our general starting points, so we can kind of get the main cut down. Okay, so now we have that our board cut, and fits pretty nice. It's pretty square to itself, so that's good. Now there's a little bit of a height difference between the white boards and the black boards here. There's a little bit of a difference coming from, because one was from Meyer, one was from Walmart. The Meyer one tends to be a little bit taller. I guess they're off by like 1/8 of an inch or a quarter, maybe somewhere right around 1/4 of an inch, maybe. So not that big a difference. So we're going to tape here and make a nice long tape line around there. The only thing I will be doing before we do that is I'm going to tape this edge here, and maybe I'll tape all the edges real quick, so that way when we go to tape, it'll have already like the built-up tape right here. So that way it'll be easier to remove the tape, because to the foam board it holds on pretty tightly, but to itself the duct tape is pretty forgiving actually. So we'll do that, because that way make things easier in our future. You cut it the way you want to cut it, to size, you know. You can give it more tape, less tape. I would give it at least this amount of tape, if not more. So that way we can, this is just my mad scientist way of doing things. Because I am showing you this in, without testing any of this first, so sometimes it works out. Sometimes you regret life decisions. We'll find out today how I feel after this. So far, I've liked how it turned out, but it definitely, it's mostly gone to plan. Say loosely. It is a bit of improvise here and there. I like improvising, actually. Like, none of this is in his tutorial. This is just the way I'm doing it. And like I said, his is like edited really well and really nice, but this is just a guy in his garage doing the best he can. I'm no professional. I am no expert. I I've never done any of this stuff before. So if it works, cool. So we're just, like I said, taping the edges to give us an easier time when it comes to... I cut the tape like that so I can wrap it around like this so that it looks a little nicer. It tucks down a little bit easier. That's one edge, then we're going to tape this edge here, and then we'll just continue on. And we'll probably be right back after I'm done taping these, and then we'll cut to the part where I'm taping it onto the back of this. So, I'll be right back. Lucky dogs, it's an instant for you. Okay, so now that we took care of all of our corners and everything like that, she turned out really good. I think this is probably the best piece I have on the whole thing. It's like the last flap that we've got to do. So now we'll line it up and we'll get in place here. Not like that. So this will be our flap of justice. Okay. So now, if we can be assured that the sides would hold the vacuum in there, I would leave it like that because this is kind of nice. But we cannot be sure of that. So, but that's kind of nice. You know, we have a little flap, and basically that's the thing we're going to try to preserve a little bit because we still have to tape this edge here. Make sure that the box is fully secure. So, but turned out really good. That's the enclosure there. So now we gotta find the cord and put it at the optimal place for the cord to pop out. And I'm probably gonna turn that around and we'll see if we can see that actually. As you can see, the box is decently sturdy on its own right now, just being mostly duct tape and prayers. Yeah, so basically we're going to try to get it cut out here. See it? But yeah. So basically the cord comes out this side anyway, so we're just going to kind of naturally follow that line. So now that we can see that the cord comes out this side, we already knew that, but we're going to puncture a hole probably like right here. Yeah, probably right here. And then we're going to feed it through and try. And then we'll tape it back together. Okay, so like a little crosshatch pattern. See if that ends up helping. Okay, so now we punctured that through. Looks pretty good actually. We're just gonna give it a good like reinforcement here, so that way it doesn't try accidentally letting the air through. Ooh, hear that storm. That was a good one. All right, so there's that. We do have to be careful now because it will get snagged on things as we're trying to move around. So we'll probably use some like regular masking tape to push or like wrap the cord up and kind of have it on here a little bit, so that way it doesn't get tangled and out of the, you know, when it's not being used. But then masking tape should come off of duct tape pretty easily. Okay, I'll keep it mostly in place anyway. Not that it wants to move anyway. So now our plan is to get open like an accessory hatch right there, so that way I can kind of get in there and open that up, and then we can just kind of close it down. So we need the button. So the problem is it's like right by the fan. So otherwise, the only alternative is to create an armhole big enough. So either way, it's going to be pretty much the same thing. Okay, we'll be right back after I figure that out. I'm going to try doing it off screen so that way when I do show it, it'll be okay. Be right back. Okay, so now you can see we kind of created a flap here, but we have a conundrum because we can't pull it up. So our plan is to use a nice drill and create us a hole and use a makeshift handle or doorknob, kind of pull handle, which is just a nut and a bolt. And we'll get that tightened down. But first things first, we're going to go ahead and make a hole. Okay, so we just had a nut and bolt together, and that's what we use as our makeshift handle, so that we can pull that up. I can stick my hand in there, and I can turn the fan on with my fingertips. So that'll work for now. That's just a makeshift one. So now that you can see that, we can we have our little handle. It's not the best door in the world, but it'll kind of work. We filled it in with tape back there. We just kind of seal that as we're going to be using it, and then you get yourself a makeshift door for now. It'll work, I swear. And if it doesn't, we'll find out today, won't we? So now the only thing we have left to do is to seal this top part for now, like a temporary seal, which we'll be doing right now, and then we can do our testing on it. So overall, probably ease of build, about like a 6. Not the easiest, but not that hard really. Considering we had to, or I did a lot of makeshift building here. So, and it's easy enough to get back into the box, because all we have to do is either pull the tape off, or we cut the tape with a box cutter. And then the next round will be even easier to get into. So there we go. We have one sealed up box here. So looks pretty cool. I think it looks great. Yeah, there we go. She's all sealed up now. We're gonna plug her in and see if we can get her running. Moment of truth. So she's plugged in, she's got power. It holds it pretty good. Because now, even though that cord is a little loose, now that the fan's on, it's gripping on, which means we get good suction. Yeah, pretty good. Not too bad on the noise level either. Yeah, not too bad on noise level either. Let's see. There she goes. So it's actually a pretty quiet fan. That's on its lowest speed, and that's being held up by the airflow. So there you go. She's working nicely. Like I said, the next modifications, the first modifications that we're going to do are lighting. So we're going to do light strips up here. We're going to use the same light strips that we've been using for the Enterprise, actually, to do some lighting down here. Should be pretty nice. I have one power supply that can work for the end of it, because I have an end. So I'll tie them all together and then run them out the side up here. And then once that runs down, then we can plug those in separately. So, I mean, overall, pretty nice. Airflow is great. I mean, we could probably turn it up, and that's pretty dang good. So, it's not bad at all. Let it draw in the air, you know, from in here, and that's pretty good. So that's level 1. Let's see what level 2 sounds like. Some decent draw. It's still not that loud, really. Might sound louder on the phone, or on the video. But that's pretty damn good. Let's give a tour here. So now that you can finally get the whole thing in perspective here. So it's basically just duct tape and some foam board and a nice fan. And you could do this with like a box fan too. Might be actually easier with a box fan. It's got good airflow. And it feels good. Now, when we have the charcoal, once we have the charcoal filter on there too, then that'll be perfect for painting. But I mean, that's pretty dang good. Feel any air draw from outside here. Yeah, we definitely did not need to tape that, so if you can get your fan to do that, you won't need to tape it either. So that's pretty nice. I'm hoping you can hear me. If not, we'll have to dub this over, but because it really doesn't sound too bad from my perspective. And so yeah, it was not that hard to build. The next modification after the lights, like I said, is that MF that micro. It's like fiberboard. It's a fiberboard that goes at the bottom, so I'll just glue that in place. Overall, good filtration. You know, we can. Oops, sorry, I need to have you off to the side. But yeah, overall good filtration. Obviously, the air is being pulled directly through here. Not much. I can't really feel anything going bad up here. So that's just good for. It's like a makeshift. I use a bolt and a nut, and then that's like your handle. Eventually, I'll probably replace it with like a little handle, just so I can get in there easier. But you know, that was a quick fix as to how to get in there. You could probably, now that you know that that's going to work, if that's how your fan goes. See, what I was originally hoping was that I could cut a hole right here at the top, right over here, and like have all the controls and everything stick out above and actually have the box lower. But this kind of worked out nicely too. So yeah, there's no air being pulled up from anywhere over here. So our sealing of the box went well, and that's one of the number one things I was worried about. So just getting it to be in the right spot with all the tape and not having anything draw the air, you know, in wrong spots. Which, I mean, this is great. Even the filter's holding its own right here. Not like any air getting in from under here. Maybe just like a small amount. But overall, once I hot glue that better, it should work out nicely. And little dress up things we might do is like dress up these corners so that they're all matching, because we have duct tape everywhere else. And it actually, I like the look of the duct tape, honestly, overall. So yeah, there is a quick, I mean, overall it took me like 3 days with spurts of doing this. So, I mean, if you had, and not only that, but I was troubleshooting as I was doing this, so this would be not so bad if, like, now you have all the information from me, so you can do a better job. And then you can go check out our guy, what the heck is his name? Oh yeah, it's right there, Prop and Stuff. His name is right on the thing, and we'll have a link in there for you. Prop and Stuff is the guy, spray booth. You can follow his instructions pretty much to the T. I mean, his has the cornered edges right there, like the edges that taper in a little bit. And then, but yeah, I mean, it turned out great. I like the way that it looks. I'm really happy. So yeah, I mean, overall it looks really cool. I'm really happy with it. It was well worth the time because now I can actually paint again. And eventually, like I said, we'll have the charcoal filter, and then in that case, I'll open it up, hot glue the that onto the inside of this other filter, and as long as the air draw is still good, we'll be good to do it that way. If not, we'll just rip it off. And but it looks good. I like the way that the fan looks. It looks like it was professionally installed when it was definitely not. But so that's its side profile. Looks pretty cool. Yeah, you get my shop in here. This is my garage. It's not the best looking garage, but it does the job. Just a little tour here. So yeah, the main tools that you'll need is straight edge, these foam boards, at least, like, I think I went through, let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Like 10 foam boards of this size. I think they start out, does it say on there? Here, let's see what it says. So these foam boards start out at 22 inch by 28 inch for these ones, or 55.9 centimeters by 71.1 centimeters. So those are the main dimensions, and then these guys end up being like maybe a quarter of an inch taller on this side here, like if you're going top to bottom, like the way that we have it lengthwise. So it's a little taller going this way too. So, but yeah, I think it turned out right. I really like that fan. I think it looks cool. The airflow is great on it. That was at like low power and low medium power. I think it has 4 settings, but either way, so that is a not so bad tutorial of how to build a spray booth. If you liked what you saw, I encourage you to build what you saw here. I also encourage you to go check out Prop and Stuff's actual video on this. His video is very nicely put together. He does have these for free on his channel. He'll give you the link to it. You can just download these plans, and they're for free. He also has the plans for the attachment for when you do it with a duct line. Ours is not going to have a duct line at all, so it's not going to it's going to vent into the garage, which is why we need the charcoal filter, so that it can pull out all the bad scent from the like spray paint and everything. Not so bad when you're just using watercolor, or not watercolor, but water-based paint. So when you're using the water-based acrylics, not so bad. This will pull off the particles so that there's not a bunch of particles flying in the air, at least. But when you're using like the lacquers and enamels and stuff like that, having a spray booth that has a charcoal filter will be invaluable. So now, from my understanding, is that having just the charcoal filter without there's one that has a bucket, and you can use the bucket and the charcoal filter too. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to have it vent into the garage, and that should be okay, as far from my understanding. Now, if it ends up being different, I'll post about it, but having the charcoal filter and this filter together should help with that. All right, everybody, take care. Try this build out for yourself. It's not that bad. It's not hard. It's a little time consuming, maybe. And if you want to be a little more accurate, you can definitely take your time with it a little bit more, do your measurements a little bit more accurately, and then get a even better finished product. I'm pretty pleased with it. There are some little errors here and there, but overall, I'm really happy with it. So if you have any questions, feel free to comment below. If you liked what you saw, please follow and like the video. And we'll probably do an update on this when I do the upgrade and I put the lights up here. And then when I also, I'm not going to install a turntable or anything like that, but we'll probably put a turntable in here when we're painting so we can kind of turn it. Right now, this will be great for what we need, and we'll just kind of go play it by ear. And when we need something more added to this thing, we'll add it. And I'll do a mini video on it, showing that, like, okay, the lights are easy. All you got to do is wire them together, and it's just LEDs, and you know, we'll be able to. It'll just basically light this area up, have a simple switch maybe, or just plug in and play, and it won't be so bad. So overall, ease of building, pretty like like 8 on the ease scale. You know, it's pretty easy. Not that difficult. Just time consuming. The video was definitely shortened by a lot, so, but I'm pretty pleased with it. I hope you enjoyed it as well, and I know I could have done better as far as filming goes, but I have limited resources for now, and probably for a long time coming. Like the fan's probably the most expensive part about this whole build. These boards were about $3 each, even for the Walmart ones. But the Walmart doesn't have these nicer ones anymore with the grid lines even. It just has these kind of crappy foam boards up here. So Meijer or another sort of store like a Meijer or Walmart will have these type probably for you. Or you can go to like a Michael's and probably find this type again. But I really enjoyed both of the original and these ones. These were nice. This one wasn't so bad to use. This is the only piece we ended up using of that. And it's okay. It's not the best, but it does do a good job for the lid there over the where we were painting. So overall, like I said, the fan's the most expensive part, and the fan was a gift to me from a friend who just didn't need it. And it's brand new. Works like a charm. This is the first time using it. We fired it up first time on the video, so I hope you like that part, because yeah, it's a little bit hillbilly rigged, but worked. You could probably, like I said, if you had like a box fan, like a cheap Walmart box fan, it'd probably do the same exact job. It might not move as much air as this one does, but it'll do the same thing, and you could probably make the box completely a lot smaller, like half the size of this, and get away with it. And then I think the controls will be on top too, so you could probably make it lower and then taper it down like he does in his instructions. And then you could make it like a little bit more compact. And I saw one guy who had the fan part. He made it like really nice, like a wooden one. And his was way cooler. And it was detachable. And so this part was detachable from his main part. And then it was like a nice booth. And like this one is semi portable. Like I could take the fan off. Or this thing is pretty sturdy. So like the fan stays pretty well for now. I don't know about like when I actually need to move it into storage. It's probably going to be stored down there. I'll make some room out and get everything out of the way when I'm not using the spray booth. But I might end up like fixing things over there. Like as you can see, there's another one of my makeshift paint areas. And so I might like actually get a table so that I can put that over there instead. So, you know, you never know. I have no idea what's in store for the future. And I'm just happy because now we can get back to these guys. And the Enterprise had, like I said, a little incident, but she'll be repaired. She only had like some minor errors now, and that have to be fixed before we can get going again. And I'll probably do that tomorrow. So you guys all take care. Have a great rest of your day, whatever day and whatever time you're in. And we will see you in the future or the past. Take care, everybody, and happy modeling.